It's past midnight in Malibu, California. A 24-year-old woman walks out of a sheriff's station. No phone, no car, no money. She steps into complete darkness and vanishes. 6 hours later, a homeowner finds her in his backyard, calm, smiling. Then she disappears forever. What happened to Mitrice Richardson after the Los Angeles County Sheriff released her into those canyons is one of the darkest mysteries this county has ever buried. But they never told you. Her mother called that station, warned them her daughter was in crisis, begged them to keep her until morning. How would the police release a mentally ill person into the dark just like that? Is that even professional? They promised she'd be safe. So why did they release her at 12:38 a.m. into one of the most remote stretches of wilderness in Southern California? September 16th, 2009. Jeffrey's Restaurant in Malibu. Mitrice Richardson arrives alone around 8:30 p.m. Well-dressed, composed. She orders an $89 meal. When the check comes, she can't pay. Staff notice something off. She talks about Mars, astrology, distant subjects. Polite but disconnected. Instead of calling family or mental health services, the restaurant calls the sheriff. Deputies arrive. They run sobriety tests. No drugs, no alcohol, just unusual behavior. They arrest her anyway. Failure to pay a bill. Her car gets towed with her purse, phone, and ID locked inside. They take her to Lost Hills Sheriff's Station, 10 miles inland, surrounded by wilderness, no streetlights, no bus routes, no way out without a car. She's booked just before 11 p.m. As midnight approaches, Mitrice's mother, Latice Sutton, calls the station. She explains her daughter has been struggling, possibly experiencing a mental health crisis. She begs the deputies, please keep her safe until I can pick her up in the morning. The officer promises her, everything will be fine. She'll be safe here. But at 12:38 a.m., they released her. No car, no phone, no wallet, just the clothes on her back and the cold night. The same officers who promised her safety sent her into those canyons alone. The terrain around Lost Hills is unforgiving. Rugged hills, deep ravines, miles of chaparral. Mountain lions hunt there. Coyotes roam in packs. Temperatures drop into the 40s. Mitrice starts walking in complete darkness. Security footage shows her leaving the station on foot, heading east, deeper into the canyons. For 6 hours, no one knows where she goes. Who failed her? The police or the restaurant? Drop a fist if you can't stand injustice. Bullies won't. Around 6:30 a.m., Bill McClendon wakes to noise outside his Monte Nido home. He finds Mitrice sitting in his backyard, 8 miles from the jail. She's calm, quiet, resting under a tree. When he calls out, she smiles at him, then walks away into the brush. That's the last time anyone sees Mitrice Richardson alive. Days turn to weeks. No word, no trace. Her family pleads with authorities, demands search teams, resources, urgency. The sheriff's response: she's an adult. She left voluntarily. Volunteers search on their own. Flyers go up across California. Weeks become months. Still nothing. August 9th, 2010. Nearly 11 months after Mitrice vanished. 2 hikers, Michael Aravalo and his brother, explore Dark Canyon near Monte Nido. They stumble upon human remains in a ravine. Scattered bones, mummified tissue, torn clothing. They call 911. Los Angeles County Sheriff's homicide detectives respond. The remains are found adjacent to an illegal marijuana cultivation site. Freshly watered plants. Recent activity. Whoever was growing there fled quickly. On August 12th, DNA confirms the remains belong to Mitrice Richardson. Coroner Louis Pena performs the autopsy. Cause of death: undetermined. Manner of death: undetermined. No bullet wounds. No stab wounds. No blunt force trauma. Too much decomposition to determine sexual assault. The coroner attributes it to animal activity, but certain facts stand out. Some of her clothing has been removed. Her body position suggests she didn't simply collapse from exposure. That area had been searched by the same department that released her, and they found nothing. Detective Hughes interviews the property owner, a wealthy Malibu landowner named Trenton Lovell. He claims he had no knowledge of the grow operation, no idea how Mitrice's body ended up there. Hughes closes the investigation in 3 weeks. No arrests, no suspects. Every story left in the shadows deserves a voice. Subscribe now and stay with us as we bring light to the mysteries too often forgotten. Here's what makes no sense. That ravine was inside the original search grid. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department claimed they'd searched it thoroughly in September 2009. Search and Rescue Coordinator Deputy Randy Scheider signed off on it. Area cleared. No evidence of subject. 11 months later, hikers find her remains in less than an hour. Either the search was incompetent or someone didn't want her found. Latai Sutton demands answers. She hires civil rights attorney Douglas Haig. They file a wrongful death lawsuit against Los Angeles County in 2011. The lawsuit names Sheriff Lee Baca, the Lost Hills Station, and deputies involved in Mitrice's arrest and release. Allegations: negligence, violation of civil rights, failure to follow protocol, deliberate indifference. During discovery, disturbing facts emerge. Deputy Louis Perez's original report documented Latai Sutton's phone call and his promise to keep Mitrice overnight. That page mysteriously vanishes from the official file. Deputy Gilberto Lozano, who released her, claims he never saw any notes about the mother's call. He followed standard procedure. Misdemeanor charge. She served her time. Release protocol. But internal emails show differently. A message from Watch Commander Lieutenant Todd Deeds to Deputy Lozano at 12:15 a.m. Richardson's mother called, concerned about mental state, advised to hold until 0800. Lozano never responded, never acknowledged, and at 12:38 a.m., he released her anyway. Sheriff Lee Baca testifies under oath. He claims his deputies followed policy. No wrongdoing occurred. Mitrice was free to leave. When asked about the missing report page, Baca says, documents get lost in large departments. It happens. When asked why no one responded to Bill McClendon's 6:47 a.m. sighting call, Baca says, we can't respond to every call. Resources are limited. When asked why the search was called off after 72 hours, Baca says, we determined she left voluntarily. No evidence of foul play. But the evidence contradicts everything. The logged phone call, the ignored sighting, the already searched ravine. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department wasn't just negligent. They were actively hiding something. Then there's Trenton Lovell, wealthy landowner. The property where Mitrice was found belonged to him. During the investigation, detectives discover Lovell has a history. Convicted in 2000 for assault with a deadly weapon. Restraining order filed by an ex-girlfriend in 2007. Local sources claim Lovell frequently hosted parties in the canyons. Wild gatherings, drugs, illegal activities. The marijuana farm found next to Mitrice's body? Lovell swears he knew nothing about it. But here's the timeline problem. The plants were mature, well-maintained. Someone had been watering them regularly between September 2009 and August 2010. Someone who had access to that ravine. Someone who knew the sheriff's department had already cleared the area. Detective Hughes interviews Lovell 3 times. Each time, Lovell's story changes slightly. First, he never goes to that part of his property. Then, he occasionally hikes there. Finally, he admits he knew squatters sometimes used the land. Hughes closes the investigation anyway. Insufficient evidence to charge Lovell with anything related to Mitrice's death. But witnesses come forward. Neighbors report seeing Lovell's truck on Dark Canyon Road the night Mitrice vanished. He denies it. Another witness claims they saw 2 men dragging something heavy into the bush near Lovell's property around 3 a.m. that night. Sheriff's department never follows up. Lovell is never charged, never arrested, never officially named a suspect. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department protects him. Or maybe they just don't care. Either way, Mitrice Richardson dies in his ravine. And nobody is held accountable. In 2014, the civil lawsuit settles. Los Angeles County agrees to pay the Richardson family $900,000. No admission of guilt. No policy changes. Just money and silence. Sheriff Lee Baca retires in 2014. 3 years later, he's indicted on federal corruption charges, obstruction of justice, conspiracy, lying to investigators. Deputy Louis Perez retires quietly. Deputy Gilberto Lozano transfers to another station. No disciplinary action for either. Trenton Lovell still owns that property, still walks free, and Latice Sutton still searches for answers. The questions remain. How did Mitrice walk 8 miles through that terrain in 6 hours? What happened at that marijuana farm? Who were the 2 men witnesses saw dragging something that night? Someone in those canyons knows what happened. Someone saw something. Someone stayed silent. If truth and justice matter to you, don't just listen. Be part of this journey. Subscribe and help us keep these untold Black stories alive. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department made a promise to a terrified mother, then broke it, then covered their tracks, then paid to make it go away. Mitrice Richardson walked out of their custody and never made it home. And no one has been held accountable. Until someone speaks, until the truth emerges from those canyons, her death will remain exactly what it is. A murder, covered by incompetence, protected by corruption, buried by silence. Tell me the time and country you are watching from. If stories like this matter to you, we have a series of these stories that deserve to be heard but often go unheard. Take a moment to subscribe. Check out our next video and uncover more with us.